Hey YouTube, and thanks for watching Junkworks Garage. If you do anything I do and you hurt yourself or something falls on your head because you did it the way I did it, I am not responsible. If you don't like the way I'm doing something, don't do it. And I am no expert, so this is how I'm doing it. We're getting ready to work on the shed here, do the build out of it. I'm gonna start back here with kind of a loft. This is a little over 8 feet to the peak, 8.5 feet actually. And then, but where it comes down, the walls are like 6 feet 2 inches to the bottom of the 2x4 here. So I add a 2x4 to that, to the top. But the reason why I'm saying to the bottom is because the way I'm gonna do this front section here, I am going to put it on the bottom. You'll see when I finish here, but I am going to put it on the bottom on this side, but I would hit my head barely. But if I was to walk into this area, I would hit my head. Thing is, I do plan on having shelves either going all the way down or something here that will keep me from hopefully doing that. If I find I'm having a problem, I'll build it more like I'm going to do the front. When I do the front, you'll see kind of more the way I planned on doing it, but the problem is between the top of the 2x4 and here is not very much room. Although I am going to remove this, we'll talk about that later. But there's still just not a lot of room up there, so I'm just giving myself an extra couple inches to work with. So that is why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I know other people may want to do it a certain way because of construction that they've been working in their whole lives and I'm doing it wrong, but I know this will be strong enough for what I'm doing. I know it'll work for what I'm doing, so that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. Now, for those who are wondering, this is a 10 foot by 12 foot shed. So 10 foot going this direction, 12 foot heading out the door behind you. And like I said, a little over 8.5 feet tall from the floor here. So that is what I'm working with, but this should apply to just about anything you're building. I know, Robertsons are better, but I can't afford them. Level. These are amazingly straight. They're a little bowed, but as far as being flat that way, they're pretty good on both sides. Now, if you have one that has like a crown that's going like that, you'd want to put that up so that when you put weight up there, hopefully it brings it back down. But honestly, these are pretty darn good, surprisingly. I haven't had a good 2x4 in a long time. But I went ahead and cut this one so it's a little bit snugger. I'm still putting the clip up there just to kind of make sure I can hold it where I want it. I like drilling things at different angles just to kind of give it a little bit of a different, pulls things together more, I think. That's just my personal opinion. So I probably will actually put something from here up for the day is done. I'm 230 pounds and it would hold me up, but I don't want to hang for too long. I don't plan on putting 230 pounds worth of stuff up there though. So, and this one here, I'd have no problem hanging from. So, not worried about that one. This one on the other hand, I probably will do more. I have to go out and cut this 2x4 not only to the 10 foot, because I'm going to cut it right to the 10 foot because this one is going to go on top of the top plate here. But as you can see, this right here, if I put a 2x4 up in here, wouldn't stay up in there. So I got this nifty little thing here. Now it's old. Hopefully you can see it, but it's got that cut on it right there. And I just happen to have this from something I tore apart that I did a similar thing on. As you can see, there's kind of a 45 on that. I'll put that up in there. And if I was to put this up in here like this, I don't know which side you can see, but it'll hit way before it hits the side of the wall. So you'd only be like across here and not using any of this. So when I make this, that allows me to go all the way in from side to side. It's pretty well, once I put it up against the 2x4 up here, I can screw it up in here, on top, up through here, and everything will be nice and tight. So I'm going to go right now, I'm going to cut my 2x4s to 10 feet first, and then on both sides I'm going to cut this angle. I'm not going to bother showing you exactly and telling you exactly what this angle is because I don't know what it is, and that completely changes based on the pitch of your roof. So your shed is probably not exactly identical to my shed. So you're going to want to probably take something, an old 2x4, start out with a piece of paper and fit it up in there, cut it onto an old 2x4, test it, see if it works. If it works, then cut it that way. I have my miter saw kind of set up for something else and I can't get it to cut the way I want to, so I'm going to have to cut these ones by hand. Before I cut another one, we're going to test this one first, see how well or not well it went. Hopefully we can get it. The hard part's going to be trying to get it to go between the two, and I don't know if I can. That it might be a bummer. Right, well, showing that I am not a professional, I didn't think about the fact that I can't get this turned at the right angle to be able to get it in over here and over here. It is too long to do that way. And I don't want to do it like I did on the other side, because yet again I will come in and I will hit my head. I'm just barely hitting it, but I don't want to do it that way. Now the reason why I'm trying to do it like this is because I don't want to have to get up on a ladder and crawl back behind there. There's really not enough room here, even if I remove this, to do that, and I don't want to be trying to reach really far. I figure if I had them, you know, a couple feet apart, I can put some bins or things up there, reach up and grab them without even being on a ladder, or very few things that I would need to be on a ladder for. So that's why I wanted to do one on this side and one on this side. But right now, the one on this side is failing me. Oh, that sucks. Well, this is what I came up with. This one is on that side. Follow this across, and that one is on this side. So what I did is just go ahead and I got that in there, and I tried to get it up in here and get it up in here, and it went up in here, and I set it there for a minute, and I thought, why not? Let's see what happens. I put this board across here so you'll kind of get an idea of my plan, and also you'll see why when I say I need to take this out right here. That's why, because I'll only have very, very short area there with that there. So I think that'll work. It's not going to be ideal. It's not going to look the best, but I do think it is my best option where I'm not wasting wood and I'm getting kind of the same plan I planned on. Now above the door here, hopefully it'll lighten up. Okay, we got the top plate here that's over the door, and that lines up with the top of this 2x4, so that lines up good there. So that is my plan. I'm just going to use that instead of putting another one in there. Unfortunately, that leaves these kind of unopened, but I'll have it hooked there and there, which should take up anything that this gives. Plus, yet again, I think I'm going to probably have something coming here and here as well. I am now working on a ladder here that I want in this shed, and I found this chunk of wood right here. Now admittedly, I was planning on putting it right down the middle and just kind of hanging it with some of those things you see all over YouTube, but I started kind of picturing that there and how much it'd be in the way of my shelving. So what I'm going to do is utilize part of my shelving over here on this side. You can see the top of the ladder over there. And then I got this not very thick but fairly solid, I don't know, piece of scrap that was actually in some of my cutoffs in the bin in my chop saw here. And I'm just going to use that and stick that up on the side over here, and you'll see how I'm using it. I can bring it in, stick it here. I do think that I'm going to go ahead and skip having the shelf actually come all the way out. I'll probably leave this part open up here just so it fits in there a little further over how I want it. But I should be able to pick this up, hopefully. Stick that just like that. Now it's hanging out, but I can get all the way underneath it and not hit my head. It's perfectly fine holding this up. It's not a super heavy ladder. At some point maybe I'll put a strap across there if I feel like things are sagging or moving around more than I want to, but quite honestly I like the way that works. It's out of the way and it's fairly easy. And then I can just grab it and hopefully be on my way. So something simple, different than I've ever seen, and it's nothing special. It just is utilizing stuff I have. So now below where I put the ladder here, I want a little workbench over here. I'm deciding to put it on this side because when the door's open, the other side is easier just to reach in and grab things. If you look outside, which you've seen outside, my gate can get in the way of this door over here a little bit. So even with it open, it's a little harder to reach this side over here. So I've decided on this side, opposite of where my ladder is, I'm going to put things like rakes and that kind of stuff that I want to grab quick and go, open up the door, grab it and go. On this side, I want a bench so I can work on my chainsaw. If there's anything else I need to deal around with and maybe fix real quick and I can do it in here, I want a little spot for that. So I decided to put a bench up in this corner over here. Now yet again, I'm using like mostly scrap wood that I have. I haven't really gone out. The only thing I've gone out and bought was 4 10-foot 2x4s because I needed those to go across. But everything else, I am just finding scrap and using what I can find. It's all stuff you can go get, but some of this stuff, and I'm sure I'll get comments, I probably wouldn't use it for this except for the fact I have it and I'm not going to go out and buy anything right now. So later on down the road, if I have problems with it, I'll tear it out and replace it with something else. But for right now, it will get me going. And it's just an idea of how and where and how I'm going to build a little bench here. So I'm just kind of leaning this up here against the wall, figuring out kind of where I want it. I'm going to mark that right there. I like my benches fairly high for my height because I got a bad back and I don't like bending over for things. Found a 2-foot piece that'll go on here. I don't really feel the need to have to go all the way across. I'm going to put something over there and a couple small pieces over here, and then this should set on top of there for now. Now this is where the way they built this is coming into effect right here. Normally you'd have a 2x4 kind of in this area that would probably match up with this 2x4 right here, and I could put something across them. Well, these are 1 inch and something like that. So I need to decide, I could probably put a 2x4 right here, which will take up the space. Maybe there's a nail sticking through. Maybe I can get the nail to hold. But yeah, that's at least good enough because I'm only going to this one here. So it's still a little bit in, but the way I'm doing this, I don't think that's going to matter a whole lot. I'm going to take this and mark it right here. That's what I'm going to do. So changing my way. You could do that like I just showed you, or you can do what I'm about to do because I got a different idea if I have the materials for it. Make sure you check that screw doesn't go too far and end up out your wall. Between the thickness of this screw just barely pokes through this 2x4 right here. So yet again, that's going to depend on what one you bought. Alright, so I'm going to cut out for that piece of 2x4 right there, but I'm going to only go in about as far as this 2x4 right here. So I put a little mark on that, and it's from this side, so I'm going to stick that up against the top here and mark that there. So now I need to make better lines, but I'm going to cut that section out right there, probably with a jigsaw. I might just use my saw. And then I'm going to take my saw. There's no battery in it. And I need to remember how it works. And raise it till it's about right there. So this is where I say, if you do anything I do and you hurt yourself, I'm not responsible. If you don't like the way I'm doing something, don't do it. Okay, good enough for the life I live. Same there, and it's probably going to be down in the front corner here, which it is, so we're going to lift that up. Alright, here's the deal. I like doing everything with a level because I doubt that that corner is square. From the way this thing hit the ground, probably nothing's square in this anymore. I can tell you the floor is level can be, side to side, slightly tilting out the door, which is what you want in case water gets in here to hopefully run out the door. Anyways, so everything I do from here on out, I'll do with a level rather than with a tape measure. 36 5/8. I don't know if you can see it right here. I got a 1x1 here that I just happened to be about 2 inches longer than I needed. Dead on bubble level. I'm happy with that. And I'm going to go ahead and get it. Actually, I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Check and make sure that we're still, yep, we're still good. That way I can kind of use the corner if I need it. I'm going to have to make sure the leg is level. I am going to secure a screw or two into the floor. So I want to put something over the top of this, so I want it to go in. I'm going to admit right now, I just remembered something that I forgot I was taking out of my garage that I think will work better for this. I may need to bring this down after all this work. Well, for right now, I'm just going to get these in here. Little bit makes it so these screws will go down flush, hopefully. So I have this right here. This was in my garage. I'm no longer using it. And I'm thinking if I cut this down, similar as I cut the other one, and I'll just cut it to this similar size, maybe a little bigger just to cover up what's underneath. That'll get rid of some of the nasty. And I think it'll be good for out here and working on chainsaws and that kind of stuff. Now it is a little bit too high, but I kind of played with this and a lot of things I'd be doing. This is pretty good and I don't have to bend over, so I'm pretty okay with that. Yet again, that's for future self. If I decide it's too tall and it's getting in my way a bunch or something, then I will deal with it then. But right now I think it'll work good. Plus I'll be able to put some taller things underneath it when I'm storing. So I do think this is a pretty good idea. I know it looks like crud, but yet again, I'll deal with that for future self. I think that's going to work pretty nice. I am going to go ahead and just check my screws. I might need to get some shorter screws, I don't know. And I am going to drill up through the bottom of the one underneath here and up into this just to kind of hold it just a couple places. I'm not too worried about it being beat around too much. The reason I went ahead and cut this out a little bit more is I don't want this gap right here. I wanted this maybe a little bit further, but I'm good here. I'm not worried about anything rolling off and into here. There I may have a problem with a few things getting through here, but I have a plan for this, and I actually have a plan for back there as well. I think it's plenty sturdy enough, and I'm 230, and I can put all my weight on it and sit here, and it's plenty good, so I'm happy with it. I've realized that this is going to be too long of a video if I keep building stuff out in here. At the end of my video here, there will be a tool shed playlist link. So go check out that link. It'll be up in the corner somewhere here. And I'm gonna do quite a bit more, not only building out things and getting things organized, but as you can see behind me, it's also painted and those kind of things. So go check out all those videos on my tool shed playlist again. Hopefully you've enjoyed this so far. Click on that link yet again and go check out my other videos on this. Now get out there and get your junk working. Thanks for watching Junk Works Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one.